Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Goaltending, where your why is bigger than your excuses. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And in honor of that, I want to spend some time focusing on prevention skills, things that are going to help you in the journey. And so this episode, we dive into the art of improving your thinking skills. So good thinking is essential for making better decisions, solving problems effectively, and leading a more fulfilling life. Whether you're looking to improve your mindset while battling with anxiety or depression, or working to sharpen your mind for personal development or professional success, this episode has valuable insights for everyone. And before I get into that, I want to say thank you for tuning in, allowing me to be a part of your journey. Apply what you learned today to your journey. Waiting to work on your thinking skills until a negative event happens in your life or a significant life event happens, it's too late at that point. Like once something bad happens, you can't just start working on trying to improve your thinking right then. You continuously practice it so that when those negative events happen, you're more equipped and more prepared. So make sure you apply what we're going through today. And then I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Thank you to Prepping with Peppers for fueling today's episode. Now let's get right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is just why is thinking, the way that we think, so important? And so in Master Resilience training, what I do for one of the things I do in the military is we teach a model called ATC. That just means that there's activating events, thoughts, and consequences. I want to break those things down, and I want to talk about what you have the impact to control. So when you think of things happen in life, you think things about whatever happened, and then whatever you thought leads to your emotions and reactions. So of that, what do you think you have control over? Just naturally. Usually we don't have control over the things that happen. Like things happen in life, a lot of things that happen outside of our control. Now there are things that we can take action on, things or things that we can do and control, but there's plenty of actions, things that happen around us that we have no control over. Now, do you think that you have control over your thoughts or your emotions and reactions to those things that happen? And I know the first time that I was learning the model, I used to think that it's our emotions and reactions that we should be trying to control, but our thoughts are what drive those emotions and reaction. Two people can experience the same exact event. The same thing can happen to them, but they can have different thoughts about it, and then therefore they respond differently. They feel differently about whatever the situation is because they think differently about it. So that's why I really want to just key in on, if we spend some time practicing consistently, working on having a better mindset, thinking about things differently. If you can approach things with a more positive outlook, generally you will see more positive things happening around you. Then if you can really improve on that thinking, that's going to impact your decision making. That's going to impact your problem solving. That's going to impact the way you respond at work, in your relationships, in your life. So by focusing on the thinking and improving how we think about the things that happen around us, we have the ability to impact and to change our environment. So let's get to work. I want to talk about cognitive bias just a little bit. We're going to get into some different skills, some different things that impact how we think. But cognitive bias, it's one of those things that whatever we already believe, like whatever our values, our beliefs, the way that we think, all of those things, we're looking for information that supports what we already believe to be true. And anything that doesn't support what we already believe to be true, we ignore them. We pay no attention to it. Half the time, our minds literally might just block those things out because it does not support what we already believe to be true. And I say that because once you build some awareness around understanding that you have cognitive bias, you might start to realize that there is information that you're naturally trying to hold on to and other stuff that you're completely ignoring and not paying attention to just because it doesn't support what you already currently think. And so I had Ryan Godfredson on the podcast in episode 9. I highly encourage you to go back and check that episode out. But he gets into success mindsets. So mindsets and understanding the difference between them, but building awareness around which mindsets you have. Just because that's the current mindset that you have, it doesn't mean that you can't change that you can't start practicing things to change it over time. So I encourage you to go back and check that one out. And by building awareness, you're ultimately impacting your ability to recognize the cognitive bias and reduce it. To start to challenge the way that you think and ask, is the way that I think the best way to think? That's one of my favorite things that Ryan asks in his book, Success Mindsets. Is the way you think the best way to think? And if it's not, are you willing to change it? Are you willing to open your mind to receive information that doesn't support what you already believe? And so that leads into really something that can help develop your critical thinking skills. And that goes right into having skepticism and questioning your assumptions. So if it's not 100% fact, if there's any bit of doubt, any possibility that that's not 100% fact, not by emotional ties, not that that's what you want to believe. If it's not 100% fact, it's an assumption. And so if you can start to question those assumptions, start to look for supporting and opposing information for those assumptions to prove them true or false, to keep an open mind, to have conversations, to get in more diverse environments, to learn from people from different backgrounds, and then really challenge the assumptions that you have. That opens your mind to better critical thinking, and it opens your mind to more possibilities. Now, the next thing I want to get into is mindfulness and reflective thinking. And I'll do that with a story. So last year, I was at a military education course. And when I went into that course, there was a couple things that I did a little bit differently than I normally do that I found to be extremely effective. I was like, I really want to just try this out. So I set a goal for the course to focus my energy on building relationships and connection with the people in my class. Now, I wanted to do good in class, but I believed that by focusing on building connection, on building relationships, and learning from the people in my class, I would ultimately be successful at completing the course, but I would walk away with something much more valuable, lifelong connections, and learning from multiple people from multiple different backgrounds and gaining that diversity in my mindset and the way that I think. And so I started with that goal, but I wrote it down. And then I set myself a couple of questions that I would ask daily, and I kept a journal that was to help with the mindfulness and the reflection. And so each day I would ask myself, what did I learn from someone else today that I didn't already know? And then what did I do to help someone else or to open someone else's mind to a different way of thinking or teaching them something that they didn't know? So what did I receive from someone else? And then what did I give? I would just ask myself that with a brief journal entry each day while I was in the course. And that led to me approaching every day, focusing on the goal, focusing on that my goal was to improve on building relationships and connection in the people in my course. And that ultimately led to extremely strong connections. I did well in the course. And ultimately, there's still people that I stay in contact with a year later that I didn't previously know before that course started, that I can reach out to with questions, that I built friendships with during that time. And so through the mindfulness and the reflection, it helped me stay on track to my goal. And it really just helped with having the right mindset as I approached each day because I understood what I was going into the day for. Health, fitness, fat loss, sleep, all goals that are impacted by the fuel you put into your body. I've tried meal prepping at home, and I've tried multiple meal prep companies, including those that deliver, but I'll be honest, nothing has been better than the meals I get from Prepping with Peppers. They offer fresh, never frozen meals on a weekly rotating basis, so you don't have to get tired of eating the same meals over and over again. So save yourself some time for the things that matter most by ordering your meals at preppingwithpeppers.com. And that leads me to just building up your knowledge. So one of the greatest things that you can do to shift and improve your mindset by learning new things and keeping an open mind to new ways of learning, not only learning new things, but learning how to learn in different ways. And so how do you do that? There's obviously the traditional education route of like going to school or taking a course of some kind or pursuing a certification. Those are some structured ways of learning. But then what if you change your environment? Have conversations with different people. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks, read physical books. Play different critical thinking games or things that challenge your mind in different ways than what you're used to. And then with all of those things, have discussions. Talk about them. Talk about them with people that you already know, that you have relationships, and it will strengthen those bonds. It might encourage those people around you to pursue new ways of thinking or to learn something new. But then have discussions with people you don't know from different backgrounds. And ask them challenging questions and ask how they learn and ask what their perspective is on different things. And ask why. The question why is so powerful because a lot of times people don't just sit around and think, why do I think this? We just naturally know things and we believe that that's what the truth is. But the question why is so powerful, especially if you ask it to someone else, because honestly, maybe they didn't think of it. And when you ask the question, they do know subconsciously why they think that. And once you draw that out, it might open your mind to, that's a great way to think, or it might open their mind to, maybe there's a different way to think because I didn't realize that was the reason that I thought of that way. So don't only focus on improving yourself, but by improving your own mindset, you have the ability to impact the people around you and their mindsets and the way that they look at, think about, and approach life. So you have the ability to impact yourself. You have the ability to impact others. So here's what I want to do. I just want to leave you with some takeaways, some challenges, because I always tell you take some action on the episode, right? So here's your takeaway. Each day this week, I want you to find an assumption, something that you currently believe to be true, but is not fact. And I want you to ask questions. I want you to challenge that assumption. Ask questions to yourself about why you think that, and ask somebody else what they think about that assumption. Get somebody from a different perspective, somebody that either has an opposing viewpoint or somebody that you don't know, so you're just getting a new perspective, a new background, and challenge that assumption. Try doing that daily and see what you think about it. Approach those conversations with an open mind and see what kind of feedback and advice you get. Next, I want to encourage you to practice mindfulness. There's a lot of different ways to do it. In this episode, I just talked about how I kept a journal and I spent time reflecting on each day in that journal. Just by setting 2 easy questions. It was never a long entry, so it doesn't have to be a long time. You can choose to write, or you can just spend time actively thinking about and reflecting on your day or specific things about your day or specific conversations. But I have found that it can help to write it down and just let it flow onto the paper. Don't overthink it and stop writing when you don't want to write anymore. It's not about challenging yourself to write. It's about challenging yourself to reflect, to think, to be mindful of your day. And then just tying into those, seek active learning. Seek to, in each interaction or each conversation, seek to learn something new each day. Look for those things and those learning opportunities. You can learn something from every single person you meet, regardless of what you think about that person, what you think about their intelligence level, their background, their experiences. You don't know everything about them. So if you approach each person with the mindset that I can learn something from this person, and you look for what you can learn from them, you will open your mind to a whole world of new insight and new opportunity to expand your own mindset. And then I just want to leave you with this. What strategies have you found to be effective when it comes to improving your mindset or your way of thinking? If you have some effective strategies, some things that you've done, or even some things that you've done that didn't work out so well, I want you to share them. So get with me on social media, drop it in comments to the videos, or share it and then hashtag goals with Will. I would love to hear you join the conversation. I'd love to see what you're finding effective in improving your thinking, growing your mind, and helping those around you. I want to thank you for tuning in, allowing me to be a part of your journey. Make sure that you go like, subscribe, share, and comment with those thoughts and questions, and let's grow.